Okay, so we have 30 minutes of a yin yoga practice ahead of us. So, as I mentioned, um, you'll want some props. Don't have to have them, they just make the practice a little more accessible. But two blocks, beach towels work great if you don't have yoga blankets. And then a pillow or a couch cushion can work great too. But again, none of it is absolutely necessary. So, we'll get started today in easy knees. So I'll invite you to come down to your back. And you don't have to have any props for this first one. As you come down to the back, the feet come wide, the knees drop in on one another. And then your choice to bring one hand across your belly, one hand across your heart, or maybe it would feel better just to have the palms open towards the ceiling along your side. But wherever you physically settle, take a deep, full breath in. And just feel the heart space rise, maybe even the breath all the way into the belly rise. And open up your mouth, exhale, just let that go. Another deep, full inhale, just like that, just drawing awareness in as you draw the breath in. And open up, let that go. And find a soft, natural, easy rhythm to your breath. There's no forcing, there's no expectation around the breath as you practice today. And yin is different from more active styles of yoga. In yin, we hold passive shapes for longer, often for 3 to 5 minutes, allowing us to target the darker, deeper connective tissues of the body. But more than just a physical practice, yin is a practice in stillness, in surrender, and in presence. In a world that really celebrates hustle and noise and productivity, yin offers a sacred pause to all of that noise. There's no goal to chase, there's no perfect alignment to achieve. It's just you and your breath. So today's practice is simply about being here. It's not about being perfect in any pose. There's no performance, there's no expectations. So let this practice simply be permission to slow down, to feel, to just let enough be enough in this space. And take another breath in. As you exhale, begin to let the knees rock just a bit from side to side, just some gentle movements. And roll to one side or the other, your choice completely, and pause there in that fetal position. Then use the strength of your arms to press yourself up to a seated position. And when you arrive, find a staff pose. So legs come long out front. And again, there's no muscle engagement. We're not muscling our way through this practice. So just allow the body to settle into this shape. And then grab one of your blankets. You'll want your blocks nearby as well. And you can, or towels, and you're just going to fold long ways, just a couple times. So we just want a little bit of a lift essentially, because we're going to take that blanket and just set it behind us so you can scooch as you need to. And just place the glutes onto the blanket. So you want that blanket to hit just like right below your glutes. And now sit back up on the blanket and just notice the difference. Maybe the hamstrings feel different. You can let the hands settle back behind you as well. And just pause. Yin is very much about noticing the body, the sensations, the minute changes as we practice. And I want you to take your right hand, I'm going to turn so you can see me here. Take your right hand just to the inside of your thigh above your knee and just guide the knee open. And release, and do the same thing on the left side. So I'm coming into a butterfly pose from here. Don't have my props in the right place. So with butterfly, we don't want the feet tucked super far in. So make a really comfortable diamond shape and sit tall first. And take a deep, full breath in. And as you exhale, I just want you to gently fold forward. Let the spine arch, let the head get heavy, and notice. There's something called the edge in yin. And the edge is really the first point of resistance where your body's like, oh, that's the wall. That's where I need to stop in this moment, in this time. And that's only as far as we want to go. We don't want to push past that edge, but we do want to invite opening in with our breath. So I want you to notice in this shape if there's tension, if there's tightness, if you're uncomfortable. If you're good here, stay here. But if you want a little bit more support for your head, grab your blocks. You can come up slowly as you do that and just stack them on top of the feet. So you can stack both of them long ways. You can pop one of them up really nice and high. Again, there's no expectation as to what this shape needs to look like. But if that feels better, then use the blocks to support the head. And in these poses for these longer periods of time, your breath is your guide, it's your anchor. And we simply notice how the shape shifts from minute to minute. And we respond to what the body's asking as far as adjustments. One of the big things I've taken away over this last month of really diving into a yin practice is this whole concept of this need, or reminder, I should say, of this need in life to have a balance between rest and movement. Yin is really about rest and softness, and in opposition to that is yang, which is heat and movement. And we have to have a balance of these things. I read a book years ago called Present Over Perfect, and that book has really been resonating with me as I've been practicing yin this month, and just reminding me that we can't really show up as our best selves if we don't allow ourselves the time to rest and to slow down. So a quote from that book that I love in this space as you continue to hold and just notice where your body is. The author Shauna says, part of being an adult is taking responsibility for resting your body and your soul. And part of being an adult is learning to meet your own needs, because when it comes down to it, with few exceptions, no one else is going to do it for you. Just a couple more breaths in this pose. And on the inhale, slowly rise. And again, you can use your hands on the outside of the knees this time and just guide the knees together and come back into that staff pose. So let the legs come long again and just let the hands set comfortably behind you. Chest rolls open and release the legs. So you may notice that when you initially came into that pose that maybe even the quads were engaged. But in this, can you just let the feet fall apart and just let the body settle as it is? And then notice any sensations. Maybe there's tingling, maybe there's heat where there wasn't heat before. All of that is energy moving through the body. This is what we call a rebound pose. And it gives you space after that opening and that long hold for everything to just come back together. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, just begin to gently walk one foot back and then the other. We'll shimmy the legs over. You can come off of that blanket, but I'd like for you to keep it near you. If you would, though, just unwind it So I'll go back to my teacher days of hamburger and hot dog folds. So we want a long hot dog fold this time. So instead of a square. So just have that next to you. You can have your blocks next to you where they're easy to reach as well. But we'll come over to the belly from here. And as you come over to the belly, I invite you to start in crocodile pose. So you'll stack one forearm on top of the other and just let the forehead rest. Let your feet fall open, let your heels fall open. And again, this is just that moment before we move into our next pose, into Sphinx pose, where we simply notice the body. Take an inhale, exhale that out. And on the next inhale, just begin to unwind the arms and walk your elbows back so that they stack underneath your shoulders. And instead of like really muscling yourself up here, because this is not about muscle engagement today, I just want your body to take the shape that it's asking for here. So maybe your shoulders are a little bit closer to your ears. And then take a quick scan of the body. Is there pressure in the low back? And if there is pressure in the low back, I want you to walk your elbows just slightly forward, and that decreases the arch in the back. And notice if that feels better. If this still is not feeling like a place where you can settle, you can also take the blanket and put it just like right at the base of your ribs. It's just going to give you a little bit more support. It can feel really nice across the upper belly too. And again, you just take that lower arch. You can just keep walking the elbows forward. This isn't about, again, there's no alignment that we're chasing here. This is about what feels good in your body and listening to the signals that it's sending you. Now, if you feel great here, though, and you want a little bit more, spread your fingers nice and wide, take a big deep inhale in, and as you exhale, begin to float the elbows away from the body, coming into seal. So again, maybe you get there and you're like, no, that's too much. That's fine. Lower back down into Sphinx. But you can continue to walk the arms back, deepening into seal. And again, I'm not pressing away. I'm not using the muscles. I'm just letting the shoulders settle where they may. Try to release the glutes unless that brings pressure into the low back. Then you can play with engaging the glutes and releasing, and notice how that feels. Being strong doesn't mean that we have to muscle our way through life. When we get quiet, we can listen to what the body's asking for. Sharing another quote from Shauna, the author of Present Over Perfect. She says, the more I listen to myself and my body, my feelings, and the less I listen to the shoulds and musts and to-do voices, the more I realize that my body and my spirit have been whispering all along. And I couldn't hear them over the noise and the chaos of the life I created. I have just a few more breaths in this pose. Another inhale. And as you exhale, gently lower the elbows. If you've got the blanket underneath you, slide that out to the side. Then stack the forearms, meet me back in your crocodile pose. So forehead rests, feet fall out and open. And now notice maybe there's more space along the front body. Maybe you notice more heat in the back. And take another breath in. Exhale it out. Gently begin to unwind the arms. Tuck the toes and press yourself into a tabletop. So shoulders stack, hips stack over knees. And pause for a moment. Use the inhale then to drop the belly, lift the heart, finding cow pose. And as you exhale, round through the spine, find cat. And do that 2 more times with your breath. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, round. Nice, slow, controlled movement. Now find your neutral spine and just walk your hands a little bit wider than you normally would here. Tuck your toes and lift into a down dog. And in this down dog, I just want you to let your bones support you. So that means I'm not lifting, I'm not forcing, I'm just heavy. Crown of my head is heavy. We're moving into swan, which is known as pigeon and vinyasa. If you do not want to come into a half pigeon, I want you to come down to your back and you'll take your figure 4 stretch instead. If you're going to meet me in pigeon though, draw your right knee towards your right wrist, turning that knee out so that you can set the shin down at the front of the mat. And we'll pause there. Tuck your left toes and lift your left knee from the mat. So I just want you to scooch that leg a little bit further back and now set the knee back down. And notice how the pelvis maybe shifted just a bit closer to the mat. If you're not here, you're on your back in that figure 4 with the right ankle across your left thigh. And then pause. Notice your hip. There shouldn't be any pain or pressure in the right knee. Discomfort is something different, and discomfort's okay. That's one of the things about yin is that it actually teaches us to be uncomfortable in places or teaches us to be comfortable in places of discomfort, not pain though. So if there is any pain or if you just feel like you want more support, you can take your blanket and put it underneath the right hip for some extra support. Blocks can also be really nice here. I'll show you a couple different ways to use those blocks in a moment. But let's start first just by coming down to the forearms. And notice there should be a gentle tug. And that first tug that you feel is the first layer of the edge that I was talking about earlier. You can also have blocks under your forearms if you prefer. Now, if you're feeling like, all right, I'm good, I got this, you can keep going all the way into a sleeping swan and let the forehead rest to the mat. Now, because you are here a little bit longer, some extra support, even if sleeping swan is somewhere that you're comfortable, some extra support can feel really good. So you can always put a block underneath the chest and then one under the forehead at any height. Then that's just going to offer a little bit more. So in this, notice the sensations on the outside of the hip. Breathe there. Couple more breaths. And on an inhale, slowly rise. Tuck your left toes and just pull that right knee back. If you're on your back, you're just going to let the feet fall or step open to the outer edges of the mat and let them drop from side to side. Otherwise, we're in tabletop, and I just want you to shimmy the hips a bit from side to side. And pause in the middle and just notice the difference in the right hip and the left hip. What you're feeling there in the right hip potentially is just that unblocking of energy as it moves through the body. Breath in. Tuck the toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Again, a passive dog, just for a moment. Bring the left knee to the left wrist, setting up for your swan on this side. So again, my hips are squared, my heart is squared. But before we lower, tuck the right toes and really extend back through the right leg and then lower. That blanket under the hip, just wedged under there, can feel really nice. We lower to the forearms first and pause. And this shape is not about symmetry on each side of the body. Each side of the body could be asking for something different, and that's fine. What works on one side may not work on the other side. And then you can begin to lower all the way down from there. Again, remembering that you've got blocks that you can always use under the chest, under the forehead, one or the other. And we just allow complete surrender in this shape. There shouldn't be pain or pressure in the knee. The weight moves back into the hip and out of the knee, so we're not rolling forward. Just a couple more breaths. And on an inhale, rise. Tuck the right toes, step the left leg back, meet me in tabletop once again. And again, just some hip circles, some shimmies from side to side. Just allowing the heat to move back into the left leg after that compression. And we come to a seat. So you'll need either two blocks or your blanket rolled up really nice and tight for this last posture. So you'll take your hot dog fold, really nice and narrow. If you're going to use a blanket, if you don't have blocks. If you have blocks, I'd rather you use those. But if you need to use your blanket, you're just going to roll it up into a super tight roll and use that. With the blocks, you'll take two. So where your head goes on your mat, I'm going to set these up like an equal sign so that we're building a heart bench for supported fish. The bottom of this bottom block is going to hit at about where the base of my sports bra is. You're going to do the same thing with the blanket. Just think the blanket is just that bottom block. So I'll turn my back towards those blocks and gently lower. So I like to adjust the block so I can find that spot along the back of my shoulder blades. You can support your head as you lower down. Now, the block for your head could be on different levels. You just want to support, make sure that your head is nicely supported there. There should be no crunchiness. Nothing should feel, you shouldn't feel that into your low back. And then the arms open out to the side, and it's your choice with the legs. You can either extend the legs You can take butterfly legs, or you could even take those easy knees if you prefer. But wherever you are, just allow your body to fully open up here, to fully settle into this shape. If you're on that blanket, it's doing the same thing. It's just not quite as high. And this space opens your heart center, it opens your throat. Your heart center being that space for all emotion to process. So allow whatever needs to move through here. And in this space, and fully being present with who you are, knowing that rest doesn't have to be earned. We don't have to prove ourselves. We don't have to accomplish things in order to allow ourselves this space of surrender and ease. This rest is necessary in order to navigate life, and the stillness is necessary and needed. Just a few more breaths in this pose. Begin to walk your feet back towards your glutes. Very gently roll to one side or the other to come off of the blocks or the towel. And then just move those props out of the way and come to lie flat on the back. Extend one leg and then the other, if not already extended, meeting me in Shavasana. Palms open to the sky, the feet come wide here. And before we take this final posture, I want you to tense everything up. So squeeze the fists, clench your jaw, tense every muscle in the body, hold that tension. And then as you exhale, just release. And notice the difference between the tension and the full surrender. Sometimes we think we've completely eased, but we need the yang, the heat, to remind us of what full release actually feels like. So let this stillness remind you that you can pause without falling behind, you can soften without losing strength, and you can always choose presence over perfection, not just in your practice, but in life. So as you return to the day, carry this quiet clarity with you. Move a little slower, speak to yourself a little more kindly. Remember, you're not here to keep up. You're here to be present. Another breath in. Exhale. And as you inhale, bring awareness into the body. You can find tiny movements in fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Maybe draw one knee in and then the other, and hug them in if that would feel good. and rock to one side or the other for just a moment. And use the strength of your arms, press yourself up to a seated position, sitting tall and comfortably when you arrive. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep, full breath in. Exhale that out. And thank you so much for showing up in this space for yourself and for one another. The light within me recognizes and honors the light within each and every one of you.